Hi, I'm Victor Jonesmore, and you're watching The Beauty Blog.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Beauty Block. I'm Julian Reynolds, your host. And today we have Victor L. Jonesmore in store with us. Victor is an Emmy-nominated makeup artist and hairstylist based right here in Atlanta. Victor has worked on some of your favorite movies. We are super excited to talk to Victor today and learn about his career. Guys, remember to like and subscribe and please leave your comments below. Let's get right to it. Welcome to the Beauty Blog, Victor. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
So tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? Are you an Atlanta native?
No, I kind of call myself the person that's from everywhere. So when anyone asks me where I'm from, I was born in Philly. We moved to Lafayette, Louisiana when I was around 3 or 4, and we moved here to the Atlanta area when I was around 10. So I'm kind of not from anywhere, but I always tell people that I'm from Atlanta though, because I've been here the longest. So I do feel like this is home. I can definitely say it's the place that has groomed me the most.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So tell me, at what age do you know you were in love with hair and makeup?
The age I found hair, because I would say hair kind of found me. My mom was a singer on the Riverboat Queen, if you remember the song with Tina Turner. So she was a singer on the Riverboat Queen, and so she needed someone to like style her hair. So I was that kid running behind stage, like when all the girls were getting ready. Even when she was a cigar girl, at one point she was a girl that walked around and said, cigar, cigarette, cigar, cigarette. So I was that kid behind stage, like giving the girls the rollers, or handing the girls the makeup brushes, because I do hair and makeup. So I would definitely say hair found me. I was reintroduced to it again when my sister decided to join a cosmetology program. And she was working 2 jobs at the time, and I do remember her going to school, working 2 jobs, and then just coming home, putting her mannequin on the countertop and falling asleep and saying before she went to sleep that she had an assignment to do. So she would leave the book open, she would start on the assignment, so whatever it was, when she went and fell asleep, I would finish. So she would wake up in the next morning to like a completely styled mannequin, like, okay, hair genie, wherever you came from, I'm gonna take it and run out of the door. So she always tell people that I stole her career. Like anytime, any award that I've ever been nominated for, she always tell people that's my reward, you know, because award because I'm the one who started him with this. And I was like, no, you kind of sucked at it, and I kind of made you look good. So yeah, and my other sister owns a hair salon, which I worked in before I was able to like legally work for a job. I was working there shampooing hair, sweeping up the hair off the floors. So it's kind of like always been around me. Glam has always been around me my whole life.
Excellent. Yeah. And where did you go to school for hairstyling?
Oh my God. I went to Pro-Way Hair School, Paul Mitchell Hair School. I went to a few because I went from one platform to another. So you can start off at a cosmetology school, which was Georgia College and State University had a cosmetology program. So I started a cosmetology program when I was in high school. Then I went there to Pro-Way. Then I went from Pro-Way to Georgia College State University. Then I elevated myself when I wanted to do like specialty classes, and that's when I went to Pro-Way again. I'm sorry, Paul Mitchell at that time. And they had like a color program that I thought was cool and that I wanted to take advantage of. So I have a lot of education under my belt.
Yeah. So tell me about your first job, big job you did, and how was that?
Okay, the first time I got called for a job in the hair industry, or my first big job?
Your first time you got called for a job.
The first time I got called for a hair industry, for a hair industry job, I was at rock bottom. I didn't have anything at the time, and my car was on the verge of being repossessed, and I got called for my first day playing gig. Oh yeah, I tell us the truth. Don't call me out if you know. I'm not gonna give you a shiny story. I am not. My car was on the verge of being repossessed, and I got a call the day before from a friend who said, hey, someone needs a hairstylist on the set. It was BET at the time, and before it was bought out to Viacom. And I was like, yeah, I can do it. I got sent over a call sheet. I had no clue what a call sheet was at the time. So I was like, oh my God, this looks like Spanish to me. Like, I was reading over it, didn't understand a thing, and I was like, okay, you know, I'm just gonna show up and do what I do. The next morning, I walked out, I'm ready, I got everything packed up. There's no car. Yeah, it happened. It was gone. It had gotten repossessed the day before, and I was like, devil, 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 you will not stop me. You will not stop me at this time. I called my sister, who, once again, is my saving grace. So I guess I do owe her my career now that I think about it. She was just like, it's okay. We're not going to worry about that. I'm going to bring you my car. You're going to get there, and you're going to do your thing. And when I walked in to this television show, and there was Kim Kimball, right? There was Lawrence Davis, who's known for doing Tyra Banks and everybody, and David Wilson at the time. And I walked into a room, and I was like, this is why you're trying to stop me, devil. You knew I had been studying Kim Kimball for years, and everybody knew Kim Kimball, you know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, this is why you're trying to stop me. But no, not today. I got there, and I did a great job, I think. Yeah, yeah. So that was it. That's how I got it.
Good. I know that led to a very successful career. What are some production you've worked on?
Oh, God. I've done a lot of things that haven't come out yet. There's a movie that I'm most proud of, like one of my top things that I'm proud of is called Fast Color. Fast Color is a movie about 3 African-American women, 3 different generations. They have powers, and they save the world. It's a post-apocalyptic Trump era. Nice. And they pretty much save the world with their powers, and the government find out that they have these powers, and now they're on the run. That movie is what I'm most proud of. I've been with the Vampire Diary original brand for over 6 years now. I must say, that brand has blessed me tremendously. I can't take anything away from it. I tell people it has been my film college. It's definitely or my film graduate school. For everything I thought I knew, the originals Vampire Diary brand kind of like smooth. Yeah, they elevated that element of those things that I thought I knew. I'm so grateful for that opportunity. Yeah.
So
I can keep going.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
So are there others that are top on that list for you?
Of course it would be Bessie, because I was nominated for Bessie. Yes. So of course it would be Bessie. I definitely, that's when I first found my passion for like period hair, when it came to like waving in that era and what our people went through at the time and how they figured out ways to style their hair, because I wanted it to be realistic as possible, you know what I mean? I wanted to make sure that every element of that project was true to form, that it was true to the period accurate. And I kept saying to myself every morning, period accuracy. And I would go home and do the work at night to make sure that what I was producing underneath Lawrence Davis made him proud, make sure that it was period accurate. Yeah.
So tell me about the process of that. What kind of wigs and work you had to do to prepare for that role?
Okay, these beautiful silky wigs that you see now, out the door. We could not use any of that. We were taking like real hard front Afro wigs and waving from that. We started at the period right before processing was a big thing, and we kind of moved into a period of processing. So if you watch the movie, you can see how the hair kind of got better. We went through a whole sharecropper phase of that movie as well. So the preparation for that is just that realistic, rolling it at night. The prep at night was more than what we did in the daytime. So we had to roll it all back down, wave it all back down, and like set it to the point that we was running out of pins and everything. Like we was literally waving hair and tying ribbons around it, silk ribbons in the direction of which wave. So if the wave went to the right, we would tie it to the right, then we would tie it to the left for the one that went to the left. So it was like hard work. And you're dealing with natural hair in the summertime. We filmed this in the middle of summertime. So yeah, it ran from June all the way through like August 31st or something like that. And that's like the worst right here in Atlanta. And we did film it in Atlanta, Covington, Conyers area. Yeah.
Nice. So explain to us the difference between being in a union and non-union production.
The difference between a non-union and non-union production mostly is pay. a lot of non-union projects don't pay as well. The reason why the union was formed in the first place was because people wasn't getting paid what they were worth. They wasn't getting paid for their overtime. They wasn't getting paid for their medical benefits. So a lot of times the non-union projects can have less money behind it, unless you have some rich kid who's making a movie and just, making sure that you have steak and lobster every day because it's one of their dream projects that they wanted to film with their fathers or mommies or grandmommies' money. So just because it's non-union don't always mean it's not going to have pay. The second in line for non-union projects, the protection. If something happens to you, if you're hurt, injured, if you're unlawfully let go, there's no representation behind you to say, hey, you got to give us a reason why you letting this person go because they're under our contract. So you want to be careful of that when dealing with a non-union project. Those protections aren't necessarily always there.
Nice.
Yeah.
I know when you started out in the industry, what were some challenges you faced?
Not being union. That was our biggest challenge. Some would say I didn't have the same walk of day playing here and building up this big career over 10s and 15 years. I did not. Within a 5-year process, I was on a big show, big budget, big pay, top of the line. I literally asked God for a certain amount of money that I wanted to make because I was poor. As I said, I started off poor. And I was like, this is the number that I want to make. God gave me that number within a year. God gave me those projects within a year. So it was a lot coming at me at one time. So my challenges was, my main challenge was keeping up with the education that I needed to have to produce the products that I needed to produce. And that's probably a question later. We'll get into that later. But one of my biggest challenges with people who did not have the easiest walk as they thought I had, didn't feel as though I deserved it. So I was at a constant battle with people saying what I did and didn't deserve. So I just had to block them out and realize that all of our walks are different. And my challenges on the back end, because I didn't go through what you went through, are not insufficient to the ones that you went through on the front end. Because if you didn't go through that walk, then you face those challenges on the other side, where they can be much, much, much more detrimental to your career. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when you started out working in the industry, how has it changed to where we are today?
From the beginning when I started to how it has changed now, the projects are back to back to back to back to back to back to back, which means the people who are helping you may not have everything that they need to get these things off the ground. Also, everything is faster now. So the quality of work, that prep time that I got on the back end for Bessie at night, 3 or 4 hours to prep wigs down, it's all about the money. It's all about doing it faster now. So that preparation with some projects are no longer there. They want the look in the morning, but they don't want to give you the preparation at night when you're now into double time. So now they're paying you double what they originally agreed to pay you, and they need these things prepped to have them ready the next day. So either you give me the double time now, or you force my call in the morning so I can have it all ready for you 2 and 3 hours before the cast get there. That element of expertise that they would give us, and it was like a respect for our industry, seemed to be fading a bit with this fast way of doing everything. Everything isn't fast. Some things you just have to trust the process.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So in 2008, you were recognized as a top educator for the Barber and Cosmetology Board.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. How did that make you feel?
Oh my God. I didn't know I was one of the first black men, the first black man to sit on that board and to be recognized at that time. It was surreal. It was very surreal. I felt like I had a responsibility thrown in my lap. I felt like I had to do something with it. How could I contribute? Then they told me how I was supposed to contribute to these things, and they literally gave me a phone call and was like, hey, this is what this come with. Like, we need you to contribute to our cosmetology book. What should be in it? Before then, braiding was not in the Milady Standard Cosmetology book in the Georgia area. Braiding was added after that, after I joined, because of me. Also, a hair designer was not in the cosmetology book. Some people don't deal with chemicals at all, but want to style and do hair in a different area, a different element. That was added to the cosmetology book after I had joined that organization. Yeah. So I feel like I contribute to, like, what the young kids do. Yeah, without saying it, writing it across my chest. The way you have the path that you're walking now is because of me. Like, nah, it's not because of me. It was because someone saw enough in me to, give me the opportunity to ask me what should be in this book now.
Absolutely, we love that. So tell us or describe the total body care service for us. Beauty and body care. That
mine?
Yeah.
What I do?
Yeah.
Oh God, I start from the inside out. I recently, for the last 2.5, 3 years, I've been vegan. So I started with my diet first when it came to the things that I was eating, putting into my body, making sure that I get enough water to exfoliate in your body, making sure that you moisturize your body. Getting proper massages, getting facials done, having my teeth bleached, and making sure that I keep up with my dental appointments every 6 months. It's a whole thing. I even dabble in a little filler every now and then. And a little Botox, I was 245 pounds. So when losing weight, I lost a lot of collagen in my face. My face began to sag in certain areas. So I then began to work on drinking collagen drinks and collagen shakes and taking collagen pills and playing around with a little filler underneath my eyes when I didn't have enough sleep, and I started to see that my face was started to kind of concave a bit. Also, in the industry, we're not getting enough sleep, and we have a 9-hour turnaround in the industry. So that doesn't always allow for a lot of sleep when having to do your job the next day. So I use Botox across my forehead just to keep everything from dropping so fast. To me, it's kind of like my maintenance along the way. But outside of that's all. Keeping my hair up, making sure that I do everything that needs to be done for that, from my different oils, from coconut oil to peppermint oil. If I see that my hair is thinning a bit, I'll do a combination of castor oil and peppermint oil because peppermint stimulate the blood flow. So it's a whole thing, man. I tell you, pedicures and manicures, it's expensive to look this good. You understand what I'm saying? I did not wake up like this. That's a lie, Beyonce. It's a lie. And she know it. She's setting up the world. Yes. It's a thing.
So I know if I were in your shoes, where were you when you got the news that you were nominated for Bessie?
Oh my God. I was on the precipice of being called for the originals. I worked on the originals as a day player, and I got called in to key for a friend who was going through a personal issue. Maurice Beam from Black Panther. Actually, I always say Black Lightning when I'm supposed to say Black Panther and vice versa. I got called to do that job, and I got called back to run the department, but I did not have enough credits or enough experience, and it was like, I need a miracle. Once again, I opened up my mouth and said what I needed. I was like, God, I need something big. I need a miracle. I need something because I need this job. I want to run this television show. The next day, Lawrence Davis, who was in that room on my first gig, called me and was like, hey, he started laughing. He said, you slick dog, you. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, what did I do? What did I do now? And he was like, how you feel? And I was like, what you mean? I feel good. How you feel? He was like, man, I'm over the moon. He was like, so what you gonna do, And I was like, what do you mean? And he told me, oh, you don't know. And I was like, no, I don't know. He said, do you have your computer in front of you? And I was like, no, but I can get it. So I ran and grabbed my laptop and I was like, what am I looking up? And he was like, just type in Television Academy. So I typed in Television Academy and then he was like, go up on the hair and makeup. And I went up on the hair and makeup and I was like, oh my God, there it was, my name. And I was like, oh. And instead of enjoying that moment, and I always tell people, take the time to enjoy the moment that you're in, because instead of enjoying that moment, I thought right in my mind, now I have what I need to go to the originals and run the originals. So I clicked off of that and went right into a resume. It was like, okay, thank you, congratulations, I'll call you back. Because I knew at that moment I had something that could make me more presentable to Warner Brothers and CW at the time. And I went right into like building that resume and submitting that and waiting on that phone call and going into that interview that I didn't take the time to enjoy that one moment. And I kind of look back over that and I'm like, that's a lesson that I have to learn. Like, just stay in those moments, be thankful for those moments at the time that I so often do not do. Yeah.
I think we're all guilty of that.
Yeah. We have to do better. Yeah,
Good,
definitely.
good. Well, congrats on that, by the way.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
So, what would you say if you were stranded on a highland? What are some key things you would like to have in your makeup and cosmetic bags that you can't do without?
Concealer. No, I'm joking. Definitely some type of moisturizer. To me, grapeseed oil. You can leave me grapeseed oil and coconut oil. Definitely when it comes to I'm gonna always pick skincare, because I always tell people, listen, you can shave your hair off. Oh, you can put it back in a ponytail and still have a great red carpet moment. So one of those things that I can't do without is definitely the right eye cream or some type of moisturizer or something like that, because skincare is everything. Like, taking the opportunity to just take care of the skin that you're in with coconut oil, exfoliating with like brown sugar and things to that nature, you can't beat that. And that goes from, listen, really, you can take that from the skin all the way into the hair. So definitely the right essential oils, I cannot do without. But I must say, I'm the person who just cannot go without a brow pencil. Like I can't go without a brow pencil. I'll tell you, if you call me to do your makeup, if you give me a brow pencil, give me a good brow pencil, some lipstick, and something to contour you with, I can moisturize you, do your brows, contour you, and put you on a lip, and you will look like you have a full face. You will look like you have a full face, trust me.
I love it. So what do your private clients come to you for? What's your go-to look in terms of hair and makeup?
Oh, breathy, clean, dewy, glowy skin. I always go for like glowy skin. Definitely that great tousled beach wave look. That was one of those things, when that happened to me, or when that happened to the industry, I was like, yes, finally, not these tight curls, And I love a good curl moment, but definitely if you come to me, you want to look like you woke up like that. You want to look like your skin is just on top. You want to look like your hair is just healthy and just carefree. I definitely think that's kind of the lane that I stay in when it comes to my hair and makeup, definitely.
Nice. So what are some trends you see emerging, and do you love or don't love them?
I have a love-hate relationship with trends, always.
Okay.
I'm a very traditional guy. I'm a Taurus, so I definitely like to stick to what I know, and I have issues with change. So when something new comes along, it takes me a minute before I jump on the bandwagon. But I'm very careful not to be negative when it comes to things that people are wearing and doing now, because everyone is different. It depends on what type of artist you are. It depends on what type of personality you have, and everything. I will say everything will work on everyone if you believe it will work on you. And you have to sell whatever that you're wearing. You understand? If you don't even give it up. Just give it up. If you don't believe it, no one else will. To answer your question though, one of the trends that is happening now is color blocking, primary colors. Just a season back, it was pastels, faded out silvers and grays and lavenders. Now they're going, I've just recently seen like a patch of red, yellow, blue, like primary colors with like a green on top. And when you move your hair, you can see like the colors underneath, but it all looks green. That's a trend that is really catching on right now. Like just looking at the hair, it looks like one solid color.
Yeah.
But as soon as it moves, it's like peekaboo. I'm calling it peekaboo color. I don't know what they're calling it in the industry, but I tell you what, if they're calling it peekaboo color by tomorrow, it's my okay. That's my word. I said it here. You understand? It's my. I'm trying to write myself a note. Trademark peekaboo color tonight. But yeah, that's a trend, and I like I say, I have a love-hate relationship with it. I don't think it's anything that I would ever recommend. If someone wants it, would I say no for not give it to them? Of course not. If you want to rock it, you feel like you can rock it, we're doing it, definitely.
So tell me, or give the person who wants to go for a day play job, what are some advice or things he or she should or shouldn't do when you're a day player?
Always ask. Never make a move without asking. It's hard to give a universal advice because you're working for individuals. There's no set rule book. There used to be a set rule book like don't wear perfume to work because actors can be sensitive to it. They're different. Their noses can be sensitive to it. We've kind of gotten away from those rules. You definitely want to ask whoever you're working with, whatever you have any questions about, ask that person, or ask that key hairstylist, like, listen, should I do this or shouldn't I do this? Or where you want me to go now? Should I stay here until you ask me to make my next move? Because we're on a sound stage. So on a sound stage, just being in the wrong area at the wrong time can kind of throw production back. So asking questions and knowing what you need to do, where you need to be, is definitely something. That's my biggest advice. Being prepared, making sure you have the education from what you come to do. If you specialize in one thing, if you're a braider, and we're not on a braid show, we're not talking about it, we're not doing a rewrite of Cool Running where we're just doing locks and braids and things like that, then you might want to get a bit more education before coming to do industry work, because you just have to know how to do everything. And if you don't know how to do certain things, educate yourself. I always tell people, educate. I feel like I have too much education sometimes, but I'm always learning something new. I'm always looking, like I'll stay on my phone all night long just looking up things that I don't know or that are out new now, because you just never know when you're going to need to use them. So
Even though you hate change.
I do hate change. I have a problem with change, only because I'm a tourist. But I roll with the punches, and I go with the flow. If you stop evolving, then you're done. We're living in a time where we're constantly evolving. Like, this is evolution at its best. And the hair industry is definitely one of those the beauty industry is definitely one of those things that set the tone for evolution. Even though some of the things kind of repeat themselves, they still repeat themselves in a different way. It's not the same going out the gate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So where do you see yourself in 5 years, or where would you like to be in 5 years?
Retired.
This young?
5 years, I definitely want to be in a position where I can contribute to others. I definitely want to move. I always tell people I'm a person who likes to stay behind the camera. I've been asked plenty of times, like, why don't you do this in front of the camera? Why don't you do more things? I'm most comfortable behind the camera. I know that. I definitely want to create projects where people can be elevated. What I mean by people that's in the industry can be elevated in a different type of way, when they can have a light shine on them. There's a show out now called American Beauty Stars. Is doing well. I would love to have a situation that I can produce where hairstylists and makeup artists that are just joining the industry can have a light shine on them in their journey. So you can kind of see like people different walks behind the scene. I definitely wanted to have more of a reality show format. I'm trying to work with producers to get that done in a way, because what we're filming on stage or on sound stages are those things that sometimes have certain clauses and releases, and certain things can't be shown behind the scenes until a certain date. So that's a direct conflict of what I'm trying to do. So it's kind of a hard thing to get off the ground. Yeah. So I could show them in their home settings, but their work settings, we're trying to figure that out now. Yeah.
one.
So in 5 years, maybe I'll have figured it out.
I'm sure you will.
I feel like I will too.
So if you had to go back to your 21 or give your 21-year-old self some advice, what would that be?
Jump. Jump. And don't jump off a mountain or a building. Don't kill yourself, kid. But just jump. I definitely, because I've had issues with change, I sometimes find myself sticking into a situation that's most comfortable for me. And a lot of times we look at the things that are paying the bills now and we don't jump and we're afraid to jump. But you have to believe in yourself and take those chances. If you don't take those chances, like, it's just not gonna happen. Like, it's just not gonna happen. An unasked question, the answer is always no. So ask those questions and do it. Just do it, kid. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So, one last question. What would you say inspire your style?
What style?
That fabulous style you have there, rocking.
Me? I definitely would say I don't follow anybody's rules when it comes to like my fashion and my style. Like, it's however I feel. And it's very unapologetic. I tell people all the time, even when I join a relationship, I'm like, hey, listen, I'm gonna give you fair warning. Like today, like, hey, listen, tomorrow I might wanna put on a leather skirt on top of these leather pants, and rock out my style, but I'm an artist and it's however I feel at the time. So it's definitely a reflection of me and no one else. Like, and I think that's how everyone's style should be. I think so many times we kind of like follow someone else or look to someone else of what we should and should not do. I've never been that person. I must say I have always kind of walked by my own rules, and I don't apologize for that. I'm very thankful that was instilled. I must give that to my grandmother, my great grandmother who raised me, Ladia LaRue. She's always told me, do you, how you want to do you, because there's only one you, only one you. So you have those rules, no one else. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we love your style and thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We look forward to see what you do in the next 5 years.
Hey, keep an eye out. It's going to be interesting.